Hey everyone, Robert Ferringo here with Doc Sports, here with the number 17 team in my 2023 NFL Power Rankings countdown, the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, I gotta tell you, as I've been doing, I wrote articles for all 32 of the teams, counting down from 32 to number 1. I'm doing videos for all these teams as well. As I'm going through all of this, I'm starting to see, you know what? I like this team a little more than I had them ranked, or I think I might have overrated this team here or there. I can tell you right now, the Atlanta Falcons, I think I'm going to look back at this preseason ranking and think that it was way too low. I'm very high. I'm bullish on the Atlanta Falcons right now. Now, I live in Atlanta. This is SEC country. This is, Georgia Bulldogs country. The Falcons have a fantastic fan base down here. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about the Falcons. I don't hear a lot of people excited about the Falcons. I don't think these people realize what they have yet with the Falcons. And really it comes down to two guys. First is Desmond Ridder. And right now I think Desmond Ridder might be one of my favorite players in the NFL. Why? Because he is creating a high-value situation with this Falcons team. I think the reason nobody is higher on the Falcons or excited about the Falcons is nobody knows what to make of Desmond Ridder. No one was expecting Atlanta to come into this season with him at the quarterback position after it didn't go well with Marcus Mariota last year. I think everybody expected the Falcons to make a move, whether it was in the draft or in free agency or trying to swing a trade for a guy like Derek Carr or whatever they were going to do. But Atlanta has been steadfast that no, Desmond Ridder is our guy. He was the guy at the end of last season when they benched Mariota. And he's been the guy unequivocally all off season. Nobody knows what to make of that. Here's what I'm making of it. I kind of trust Arthur Smith. All right. Arthur Smith created 2 top 10 offenses that he was the coordinator of in Tennessee. That guy resurrected and fully resuscitated Ryan Tannehill's career, turned him into a legitimate big boy NFL starting quarterback. They were in that AFC championship game. He almost took Ryan Tannehill to a Super Bowl. So if Arthur Smith has seen enough from Desmond Ridder to be like, yeah, I can win with that guy, I'm kind of trusting Arthur Smith. Look at what has happened to the Tennessee Titans offense since Smith has left. And I do not think that Arthur Smith has gotten nearly enough credit for the Atlanta Falcons going 7-10 and being extremely competitive each of the last 2 years. The Atlanta Falcons have undergone a complete and total rebuild over the last 2 years. Think about where they were in 2020. Matt Ryan, coaching staff, veteran team, to where they are now. It is a completely different group. I think I looked at it. I think maybe only 3 of their top 20 defensive players from 2020 are still on the roster. Only 2 out of their top 12 skill position players. The Atlanta Falcons have undergone a complete and total rebuild. And they did it without getting, gruesome. All right? I think the Arizona Cardinals are heading for a complete rebuild and a pretty ugly, gruesome, bloody year. Look at what the Texans have done the last 2 seasons while they've completely turned everything over in that organization. Last year was a rebuilding year for Chicago. They were more competitive than people thought they were going to be. They still won 3 games. Atlanta's gone 7-10 each of the last 2 years while completely overhauling that roster. That really speaks to what Arthur Smith has been able to do with this unit because he has had one of the least talented rosters in the NFL. Not anymore. Not anymore. You look up and down this Atlanta roster on both sides of the ball. I see dudes. Okay? Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. They have a top 10 offensive line. They the last regime invested heavily in the offensive line. A lot of first-round picks. It took a while, but these guys really started to gel the last 2 seasons. They were great at run blocking, still not great at pass blocking. That's fine. They were the number 2 rushing offense in football last year. They are solid along that offensive line. Okay? At running back, they drafted Bijan Robinson. Oh, the value, draft value, the value boards. Doesn't matter. Bijan Robinson was the number 1 high school player heading into college. He was a number one high school skill position player, running back. The guy's a stud. He has been a stud since he was in high school. He's worthy of a first round pick. Okay, I don't care what the analytics say. Atlanta got a very good, very talented player, and from everything that I'm hearing, reading, and seeing out of training camp, Bijan Robinson's a real deal. Okay, they added him to a running back room that already had a 1,200-yard back in Tyson Algier from last year, and oh, by the way, has Cordarrelle Patterson, who is just a man. If you ever seen that guy run the ball, he is a full-grown man. So that gives you 3 running back options right there for a team that was already number 2 in the NFL last year running the ball. The receiving room invested a first-round pick last year in Drake London. Drake London didn't blow it up last year, but guess what? He didn't have anybody throwing him the ball, and he was a rookie. Rookie receivers, they don't usually do anything, frankly. If you go back and look at the last 25 years, there aren't a lot of rookie wide receivers that come in and just set the league on fire. Now, I know you're going through your head thinking of a couple of them. Sure, but for every one of those guys, I can show you 20 guys that didn't do anything in their first year. Drake London can play. He's a big boy. He can play. Kyle Pitts, he did set the world on fire his rookie year. Made the Pro Bowl. Set some records for rookie tight ends. Had a sophomore slump. That's nothing new. Guys busting out his rookie and struggling in their second year. Same thing. He got injured. He was the focal point of every defense, and he didn't have anybody throwing him the ball. I'm looking for a big bounce back out of Kyle Pitts. He's a big dude. Okay, so you got these running backs. You got Pitts. You got Drake London. You got Mac Hollins, who is another large mammal. Jonnu Smith. Scotty Miller. I would have liked to have seen Atlanta do one more thing. I think if they had gone all in this year and made a move to get DeAndre Hopkins, we could be talking about one of the best teams in the NFC. 1,000%. I think they're one more big time receiver away from being right up there with San Francisco, Philadelphia. I absolutely think that, because when I look at the talent, where they're using their top picks and the quality of athlete that they're getting, they're kind of building their team like San Francisco built it, right? Ayuk, Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle. You know, San Francisco has dudes, right? That's what makes them so good, is that their starting 22 are just studs. Atlanta's building something very similar here. And I'm not saying Atlanta's as good as San Francisco, a team they beat last year, by the way. I'm not saying they're as good as San Francisco. What I'm saying is I'm seeing some similarities in how this team is being built. Now, let's get to the other side of the ball, all right, because that's a big difference between those top-tier teams, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Atlanta. They have completely gutted the defensive side of the ball. Falcons brought in new defensive coordinator from New Orleans, who had a top 10 defense last year. Brought in some new players, particularly in the secondary. We're bringing in Jesse Bates, should pay huge dividends in that secondary. They already have A.J. Terrell, who's a Pro Bowl talent. Jesse Bates is a Pro Bowler. They bought low on some guys like Jeff Okudah, former first-round talent, Mike Hughes, Trey Flowers. They have rebuilt that secondary. This is a team that only forced, 11 interceptions is what they had last year. Not nearly good enough. Also looking better in the linebacker position. But for the Falcons, the story of the Falcons defense over the last 15 years, really, since John Abraham and Pat Kearney left, the story of the Atlanta Falcons defense has been their complete and total inability to get pressure. It has been pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Other than that one breakout Vic Beasley season, his rookie year, when I think he had 16 sacks, the Atlanta Falcons pass rush has been up there with like the Chicago Bears quarterback room or New York Jets wide receivers. There's some positions on some teams, the San Diego Chargers kicker. There's some positions on some teams that they just never get it right. That's been the Falcons rushing the passer. The Falcons at defensive end. The Falcons at outside linebacker. They have invested on that side of the ball. Bud Dupree has come in. Calais Campbell has come in. Caden Ellis. David Onyemata. They have rebuilt this entire starting 11 to the point now where I think they're going to be pretty good on that side of the ball. And if the offense can be a better version of what it was last year, this is a team that is very straightforward about what they want to do. They want to line up and they want to run the ball down your throat, like Arthur Smith did with Tennessee Titans. If they're a top 5 rushing attack again this year, and I see no reason why they won't be, if they stay healthy at the receiver position, and Desmond Ridder just doesn't turn the ball over, they don't need a ton out of Desmond Ridder. Just don't turn the ball over. We're going to run it at people, run it down their throats, and then we have these ginormous receivers that you can throw it to in the red zone. If all that happens, this is going to be a pretty good offense. If they're scoring points, they don't need a top 10 defense. Falcons could be number 14 in total defense. That might be good enough. And when you look at Atlanta's division, it's wide open, right? New Orleans is kind of a soft favorite. They are probably the favorites because they have a name brand quarterback, Derek Carr. Swap out Derek Carr and Desmond Ridder right now, Atlanta is the favorite to win this division by a lot more than New Orleans is. Carolina's rebuilding. They may make a mistake and go with the rookie. Tampa Bay, for all their bluster, no. Kyle Trask, Baker Mayfield, get out of here. Get out of here. You're in for a not at all enjoyable season, Tampa Bay. So this division's wide open. There's no reason that the Atlanta Falcons can't win this division. I think they're that good. Their season win total is 8.5 right now. They played 9 of their first 10 games against teams that I have ranked below them in these power rankings. They have a soft division, easy schedule, young upcoming talent, a coaching staff that has been underrated for what they've done over the last few years. I am bullish on the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think it's going to be very long till they're knocking on the door of the top 10 in the NFL. And nobody is talking about the Atlanta Falcons that way. I am. Remember when it happens, when Atlanta gets off to a really strong start this year. Remember, who was that said that Atlanta was going to be legit this season? Yeah, it was me. So I'm absolutely taking the Atlanta Falcons to go over 8.5 wins. I think they get to 10 or more. I'm very excited about this team, very excited about betting on this team. And I think I have them ranked too low at number 17, frankly. So we'll see if I'm right or if everybody else out there who's not talking about them or who's laughing at the Falcons right now is right. But that's what makes the NFL fun, right? So, all right, that's it for today. Check back tomorrow for my next video as we get to my number 16 team in my NFL Power Rankings. Also, be sure to take advantage of the free $60 link down below. That $60 same as cash to be used at Doc Sports, some of the top handicappers in the country. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, turn on your alerts, and you will get notifications when I post the rest of these videos. Have a wonderful day, carpe diem, and good luck.